What I'm going to show you today is one of the best ways that I've ever seen of converting a photograph into a watercolor. We've got a nice pretty photograph before us right now that some pictures make great watercolors, some pictures don't. But this I know will make a great watercolor picture. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my picture. I'm going to open it in Camera Raw. I've already made all my corrections, so I'm just going to hit open, and it's going to open in Photoshop. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is going to be crazy. You're just going to have to do it. Write it down, and you'll get it. You're going to hit Command J or Alt J and duplicate your background. Okay. Another way you can duplicate the background is just simply click and drag it down here. Now this is going to sound crazy. Just do it. Go to File, Save As. You're going to save it. It's going to be a Photoshop document. You're going to ignore that. Save it to your desktop. Save. Replace. Okay. Then you're going to close it. This is the stupid part. You're going to reopen it. File, Open Recent. It's usually the one at the top. And there we are again. This is the only way we can activate the brush that we need. The brush that we need is right down here. And it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th from the top. And it has, if you click and hold down on it, it says History Brush, and then it says Art History Brush. What we want is the Art History Brush. Okay? Then we're going to come up here to the top with our little brushes, and we're going to click on this side arrow, go down here to the bottom, and we're going to choose Wet Media Brushes. And you're going to say, OK. And these brushes are going to come up. Number 42 is the brush you're going to look for. It says Watercolor Light Opacity. You're going to choose that brush, and you're just going to click on that. And I'm going to make this, I'm going to make it a little bigger. I've been having problems with this today, getting it to enlarge the way I want it to. Come on. And I'm still having problems. There it goes. Okay. Now, I'm going to go see the little number up here at the top. It says 42. But we're going to change that brush size. We're going to change it to 50. This might be too big. You're going to click in your background. And you're going to swirl it around. As you swirl it around, you're going to see that it changes the way your picture looks, so it looks more like a watercolor. Now, right now, that's too much difference. I don't like that. So I'm going to use my left bracket key, and I'm going to reduce the size of my brush to about 30. And then I'm going to run over the background. You want your background to be a little more blurry than your foreground. So I'm just going to keep taking circles, and I'm going to make sure I don't miss anything. Go around the outside, around over here. Yeah, here we go. Round and round and round and round. Okay. Now, when we come down to the foreground, I'm going to get over here. I'm going to make my brush, I'm going to use my left bracket key, make it smaller, and I'm going to bring it down to about a 20, and I'm going to swirl that around. You see it's a little bit smaller, and it leaves a little more detail. Doesn't matter if you go over your fishy, because you're going to be going over him again anyway, or whatever your subject is. Your subject should get your best kind of determination. And sometimes I put smaller places in the back. I actually think I'm going to make this a 15 instead. Yeah, I like that better. We get a little more of the stone pattern inside of there. Okay, now we're going to go to our fish. We're going to crank it way down. I'm going to start out with a 9. And you've got to be really careful, because if you go outside the edge, do you see how that's making that outside too detailed? I don't want that. I'm actually going to take it down some more and get myself some more detail in the fish. I want really to get that eye back if I can. There, I got that. Then I'm going to crank. I'm going to use my right bracket key. I'm going to bring this back up to 10. I'm going to carefully go around the outside edge where I've gotten it kind of too soft or too much detail around the outside. Okay. Now we're going to do something really, really different. If you're using a Mac, it's Shift, Option, Command, the letter E. If you're using a PC, it's Alt, Control, Shift, E. So you hold all three of those buttons down at the same time. And if you look here, it combines everything into the top layer. That's what you want to do. So it's Alt, Control, Shift, E for PC, and it's Shift, Option, Command, E for the Apple. And then I'm going to go up to Filter. I'm going to go down to Artistic. I'm going to go down to Watercolor. And it's going to give you what Photoshop would do for a watercolor, which without what we did before would look pretty nasty. I'm going to play around with my detail a little bit. I think I'm going to leave it at about a 10. My texture is at 2. My shadow intensity is at 0. I make sure my drop down is on watercolor. Okay? And then I'm going to hit OK. And that's going to bring it back here. So I'm going to show you the difference. That's what we had. You see how it gives you your watercolor a little more clarity. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my blending modes, and I'm going to hit screen, which is going to lighten it up, and you're going to go, holy cow, that's too light. I hate it, Schmidt. You're going to change your opacity, and you're going to bring it down a little bit. Remember, a watercolor is very, very light. It has very, very little detail in it. So we've got that. Then we're going to do that crazy thing again, that Alt, Control, Shift, E, or on the Mac, a Shift, Option, Command, E. And we're going to go, and I've showed you this before, Filter, Lens Correction, Custom, and this time, instead of making it a little darker, which you could do, we're going to actually make it a little bit lighter at the edge, because that's kind of what watercolors do. Hit OK. All right, this is before, after. Okay, I'm not sure I like that. I'm going to take this back. That's way too much. That's good. All right, what I changed my blending mode to was lighten. All right, 73, I like that. Because I've still got the detail. That's where it was, that's where it is. Again, lens correction, custom, vignette, amount. I'm going to lighten up my edges a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to layer, flatten. You're ready to save it and print it out. So this is what it started out like. This is what we ended like. And a lot of people, if you print this, if you've got an inkjet printer, you can actually print it on watercolor paper. People won't be able to tell the difference.